Guys, what is up? Welcome back to episode 2 of the Mass Appeal podcast, recording live from the headquarters at Hedge Better Studios, presented by Hedge Better.
Reporting live from the Hedge quarters at Hedge Better.
Did I say that wrong?
You said headquarters at Hedge Better.
Oh, sheesh.
Hey,
yeah, my bad.
We're gonna work on the word.
Here.
But it's all good.
Second intro ever.
Yeah, we're here. I'm excited for episode 2. We just had a great interview.
Awesome
We're not
interview.
going to leak anything yet, but great interview.
That'll be coming up in episode 3.
So yeah, we got a lot of shit to go over. Some local stuff, some national sports stuff. A lot has happened over the last week.
Especially, not even, dude, the last couple days.
Yeah.
Really, we were kind of cruising.
Up until Sunday, we were like, what the fuck are we going to talk about? You know? And then all of a sudden, bang.
Legit, and that's just how it happens, man. That's how quick media turns over and shit, 100%. You know what I mean? The first thing we got today is so we're going to open up, guys, local segment to start, right? Pats have been tied to a couple of big receivers in this offseason. 3 vets. They're looking to get vets in there, which I think is their best option, given the fact that they can't draft and develop anybody. And so far, we got Amari Cooper, Robbie Anderson, and Allen Robinson.
Really? See, I haven't even heard about Robbie
Allen Robinson
and
Robbie. Well, Robbie Anderson is available via trade from the Panthers. They're like going to blow everything up. They're trying to trade McCaffrey. It's
I saw they were trying to trade McCaffrey. I'm like, holy fuck.
Don't know who would want him because what's the price going to be?
Who knows?
Kid plays 4 games a year.
Right, yeah.
Makes $20 million, not a big deal.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Amari Cooper. How do you feel about Amari Cooper? I'll let you start on Amari Cooper.
I love Amari Cooper.
So do I.
I had him in fantasy this year. Unfortunately, my fantasy team shit the bed, but he performed well, especially towards the end of the year. I think in the last podcast we talked about how New England needs a receiver. We were talking about them drafting a receiver. I know they were talking about Calvin Ridley. Obviously, we'll deep dive into that in a little bit. But I think Amari Cooper is the number 1 option right now. I think he'd be a great fit. I think it'll give Mac Jones another weapon, and we know he needs weapons. He can't do it by himself. So I think Amari Cooper would be a great addition.
I do too. The right price.
Yeah.
He's had injury problems, which is the only thing that aggravates me a little bit.
Is he a free agent or is it via trade?
No, they released him.
They released him. Okay, So he's out there.
They released him. Yeah, he was due $20 million this year in that contract. Sheesh. There was no way they were going to pay him.
So are they looking? Did he put the Pats in teams of interest?
No, but
just
they're
like a bunch of rumors coming.
Yeah,
out?
it's kind of like this. That's the option that makes the most sense so far. And the other thing is Robbie Anderson, I'm probably the most down on out of the 3. Mm-hmm. Robbie's a burner. He can get down the field. He's just so inconsistent.
You don't see him as that piece that's going to get us over the hump.
He may be the second option maybe. Yeah. Sure, but he can't be like the big guy you bring in. That's not enough. Yeah, not even remotely close. Allen Robinson.
Okay.
I love.
Is he still with Jacksonville or did he bounce around?
Bears.
But he was with Jacksonville.
Started with Jacksonville. He got drafted by Jacksonville.
He was a beast.
Beast with Jacksonville. Yeah. Signed a big deal with the Bears. Had a good first 2 years, and then this last year with Justin Fields and that whole shebango, they just phased him right out. And he is literally the perfect Bill Belichick receiver. He's a huge dude. People don't realize how big he is.
How big is he?
It's like 6'3", 220.
Really?
It's a fucking house.
And then on our last podcast, I was saying I would love for them to get a big boy receiver.
This is the guy. He's the biggest guy out of these 3 guys physically, literally.
Do you think if you were to choose between, obviously Amari Cooper is the number 1, but do you think Allen Robinson?
Allen Robinson, Cooper? Yeah.
Really?
He's more durable. He's got better hands. I think physically he can do a little more than Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper blew the league up at one point.
He did. You know what Amari Cooper is? He's a route runner. Right. He runs great routes. He's a great wide receiver. He's just not flashy.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a Marvin Harrison, if you remember Marvin Harrison from back in the day. Jay Fine, you definitely do.
Oh, yeah. Colts.
Never really highlight reeled you with some crazy one-handed catch or some shit, but just always got the job done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
so you think Allen Robinson would be a better fit for the offense?
Yes, I do. Jay Fine, how do you feel?
I really like Allen Robinson. I think he's used to playing with young quarterbacks who are developing, and I think Mac is light years above anything he's played with. So I think it'd be a nice change for him. I think he'd fit in really well here.
I also think that, like I said, Robbie Anderson can't be the only guy you bring in.
That would be the most Bill Belichick Patriots move ever to make Robbie Anderson
1,000%, and then they put him on the billboard as the big offseason acquisition. And
but you're right, he definitely cannot be.
He's as streaky as anybody in the league.
So
appear for a week, disappear for 3. And granted, his last two teams have been the Panthers and the Jets, so let's take that into accountability here.
Yeah.
But
Do you think if they get Amari Cooper or Allen Robinson, they're going to shift their draft focus onto
Amari or Allen
if
Robinson,
they get one of them, one of the big names? You think they're still going to look to?
I
draft
still think
a
the
big
Pats
wide
draft the
receiver?
best player available at 21. I think they go best player available. If there's a great linebacker there, they take a great linebacker. He could also go boring and take like a pass rusher, like Bill always does.
Are there any names that are floating around right now for like potential draft picks?
I actually haven't even looked at a mock draft.
I haven't either.
I really haven't.
Are there any out right now?
Yeah, there's
Early ones.
there's some that come out
But
like
there's still
the day
time.
after
But
the
there's
Super
still
Bowl.
time to go.
1,000%.
For anything to happen off season stuff. But
It
yeah.
looks like this wide receiver draft is full of burners, from what it looks like. Apparently, guys that are ripping up the 40 times. You know what I
Did
mean?
you see that fucking D lineman that ran a fucking like a what was it, like a 4.7?
He's projected to go mid first round.
That's insane.
Somehow. I don't know how, but he's projected to go to I forget who was going to look like they were going to end up with him. It was some middle of the road team like Philly.
Oh really?
Dude, they have 3 first round picks.
Really?
Yeah.
What are their numbers like overall picks?
I
Are we
think
looking at?
it's 2 mid and 1 late first round.
Still 3
which even
first-round
still
picks in the NFL.
Yeah, it's
Shitting me?
ridiculous. Yeah.
Good for them.
Insane.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you're coming off a playoff year.
Yeah.
Talk about
That's
being in
awesome.
good position. They're in the best position, and they have a shit ton of cap space. They don't pay anybody.
I think the Pats are in a pretty good position themselves. You know,
I agree.
they're coming off a solid season. They made the offs, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
We got pumped by the Bills, but I think they're in a good position considering everything. Dude, I like Calvin Ridley a lot, and I don't want to get too into it right now. We're gonna get into it, but I think if they end up with Amari Cooper or Allen Robinson, even Robbie Anderson as another option, they'll be okay. Either way, they're gonna be okay. But I do think they need to land like a number one guy.
The thing is, Robbie's going to come cheap.
Well, that's the thing.
I mean,
I'm
dirt
not
cheap.
saying Robbie Anderson's going to like shift up this whole offense and
right.
bring us, to the next level, but he wouldn't be a bad
But
addition
for some
either.
random 4th round and
Yeah,
5th round pick, 100,000% I would. Some shit
Yeah.
bum, exchange there in the trade.
So we'll
Sign
see.
me up.
We'll see what happens with that.
100%. Next thing we have is this Bryant and Wagner brawl from the NEC championship game in basketball.
Yeah, so I need a little more information on that. I was listening to 98.5 today.
Can we get a clip up?
Is there any
Jay Fine?
If it's too much of a shit show, it's all right. But what I've heard so far... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jay Fine.
I was gonna say it might take it down if we put it up
All right, so fuck it.
because it did that. It flagged our last video when we.
Did it really?
Yeah.
All right. So
Okay, never mind. So then what you're seeing is, so Wagner's getting shit pumped at this point in the championship game. Right. And I want to say that they were down literally by like 30 at this point or something like that. They're getting blown out. And it's crazy how can commentators stop over exaggerating absolutely everything that happens?
Right.
That's out of the line of what's scripted in the game or how things typically go. Because you would have thought that people were hitting each other in the face with sledgehammers.
I wish they were. Get some fucking excitement in the fucking sport.
Legit, 100%.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's literally just a bunch of Wagner fans and that were on the bottom of the bleachers.
Yeah.
And against the Bryant fans at the top, shoving each other.
Sick.
And one kid got punched.
Sick.
Excuse me.
You would think the sky's falling.
No, they're like, this is bad for the game. It's just disgusting.
Just the
Relax.
typical dudes. But from what I heard on the radio is there was a Bryant player that was draining shots and they were already killing them, and he was literally doing push-ups on the ground.
Peter Kiss is his
that
name. Yes.
So I guess he's not the reason it happened, but he definitely added to it. And then all I heard was there was the shit in the crowd, but I didn't know exactly what.
Well, a
went down.
Wagner kid tried to run into the stands, I guess, and his teammate grabbed him. So he tries to
Let
run
him go.
tries to run into the stands, gets grabbed by his teammate, gets ejected. Thanks for coming.
man.
Thanks for showing up. You guys put up 35 points in a championship game.
That's the most eyeballs they've gotten on that fucking school in a long time. So hey, fuck it. Good shit, Peter. What's his name?
Peter Kiss.
Peter Kiss. You just brought some fucking marketing to the school.
To Bryant
good for
University.
You, buddy.
Yeah, go
Good for you.
Bulldogs.
But yeah, that's crazy. They're talking about it everywhere, and I think I even got a fucking notification on my phone from one of the big news media places were talking about it. But it's
Did
crazy.
you see?
Dude.
If you watch the video, dude, they played in Jay Fine. Did you watch this video?
I saw highlight. I saw people talking about it. I didn't see the entire video.
Did you see a clip, literally a clip?
I didn't see it.
It's in a high school gym. That's another problem.
Yeah.
Everyone's on top of each other.
You're just asking.
they're
asking for
in
something like
what
that.
looks like a decent high school gym. I'm not kidding.
I mean, but how do you stop that though? I feel like that if the
can't.
crowd wants to do that, they could do it at any size.
you can't.
gym
Of course, they
anywhere.
do it
at the
Absolutely.
TD Garden.
Yeah.
TD Garden if
exactly.
you want. Happens all the time. Every baseball, football, whatever, basketball, whatever the fuck it is.
I think it's funny how much they're blowing it out of proportion, though.
It's so insane. Like, what a slow news day.
That's crazy.
The other thing is, real quick, we're going to next point. Jay Fine, I want to hear more of your opinion on this because you're like a basketball guy. Should KG have his number retired by the Celtics? Can I give you mine real quick? Just my one-word answer.
Sure.
No. Go.
Okay. To be honest, I would have to say that this is something I go back and forth on because if this was 95% of the teams in the NBA, I think it would be a slam dunk.
If this was the Memphis Grizzlies,
yeah,
the Sacramento Kings, the Orlando Magic, yeah.
right.
If it wasn't the most storied franchise in league history, different story. Continue with the
Exactly.
point.
I will say he was super important in the sense that he was one of those key pieces that came in and helped restore us like to glory, right? You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like he came in, he won us a championship. He was here for a while. He was a key piece of like the organization.
You say a while. He was here for 4 years.
And that's part of one of the reasons why I'm not sold on him being
Me as well.
Right. You know what I mean?
Paul Pierce, a different story. Paul Pierce was here his entire career.
Paul Pierce definitely.
Paul Pierce deserves
yeah.
it 100%. Even though I think he's still like one of the most like overrated like Boston athletes ever. A hot take, whatever you want to call that, I do.
Hey,
not that he was a bad player. Paul Pierce was a great player. I just think early in his career, if you remember him early in his career, he didn't give a fuck about anything. Paul Pierce, he would show up overweight.
Yeah.
Like he didn't give a shit about anything.
I think it has a lot to do with like the community itself. Like KG is, regarded as like, he brought us to that stardom,
Messiah, yeah,
and, like,
right.
That infamous interview when he's like, anything is possible, like he's in the Celtics jersey
which is
that.
so corny. By the way,
and Boston loves him though. Boston loves KG.
I know.
So I think that's where it comes in, where they're like, okay, we got to do this for the fucking city.
I liked KG. Don't get me wrong. I liked KG like 100%. I did.
If we're talking standards and is
put his numbers up against.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Like the numbers that are already in the rafters, does he belong?
Now there's a buddy of mine. A
Celtic.
buddy of mine gave me a good point. He was like, "Listen, there's other guys up there that have worse stats than KG," and I'm like, "You're probably right." Like random guys from the '50s that we have never heard of. But between me and you, the Celtics have too many retired numbers.
How many do they have?
Dude, like legit, they have like 2 banners worth of retired numbers up there.
true.
I want to say they have almost 20 numbers retired, which is insane.
Yeah, it's like at this point, you're like, what's the standard to get your number?
That's my point.
retired,
What's the standard to
Like,
get?
is
And if you're
Isaiah-
gonna do KG, why not Ray Allen?
like is Isaiah Thomas gonna get his number retired?
my point,
now?
right.
That one playoff run.
It's
I
like-
love him, but like, what is the standard here?
And then
I
here's-
understand what you're saying.
And then here's the thing: is like the Patriots, their success has only been recent, right? In the last 20 years, I know not recent, but the last 2 decades.
2 decades, yeah.
After
the 2000s, yeah.
But as far as long-term success, they're the least prestigious of the 4 Boston major sports teams, right?
You were talking like in the 90s?
Yeah, they sucked. They sucked before the
Yeah.
year 2001. Every year they were ass. You know what I'm saying? The Celtics were big in the 80s, big in the 60s, and the 50s with Bill Russell and shit.
The Bruins were always
were always
big
in
in
there.
the mix.
The Red Sox always in there, had like teams that made runs and stuff like that. But like, how are the Patriots the stingiest about the number? Do you notice like they almost retire no one's number? The Patriots? Teddy Bruschi doesn't have his number retired. Richard Seymour. I don't even think Ty Law's number's retired. Like, think about this. Brady's going to be the guy that leads into our next
That leads
point.
into our next point.
But like Brady's going to be the next guy that gets his number retired by the Patriots, dude. They only have like 4 retired numbers.
Yeah. That's like, yeah. So to go into the next point, the next Boston athlete's in line for a jersey retirement. So,
By the way, what do you think about? So, do you have an opinion on KG?
well, I don't think it should get retired, but I'm not mad at it getting retired. Let's put
Okay.
it that way. I think he's a staple for the fucking Celtics. Like as for me growing up, like KG was one of my favorite players.
I get that.
For
4
like
years.
the younger generation, I guess.
4 years and 1 title isn't
know what
enough
I
for me
mean?
to have your number retired
agree.
by
I'm
the
not-
most storied franchise in NBA history.
I'm not saying I
my
disagree, but I guess I'm indifferent about it.
Sure, okay.
But yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Jay.
And
Fine,
Jay
what do you
Fine,
think?
where are you on it?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Tommy, where as someone who loves KG, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be mad if they
Yeah.
do it, but I just think kind of like you said, like we got to set the standard with this franchise. Like we probably needed a little bit more longevity out of him to retire him for sure.
If you were here for like 8 years
yeah,
and won a title, okay. 4 years is like
It's crazy to think that he was only here for 4 years.
4 years, right?
It
It
doesn't
felt like he
seem
was
right.
here for 10.
I didn't even know he was only there for 4. I thought he was here for at least 6.
I thought it was 4 years.
I don't know.
And then they traded him in 2012. Yes. to the Nets with Paul Pierce in that big trade.
Did he come in? He came in 08?
Yes, the 08 offseason.
Interesting.
And they won it in 08. They lost in the finals in 09. Then the next 2 years, 10 and 11, and they traded him in 12.
No, it's a good point. And like I said, I'm indifferent on it. Like, if they do retire it, awesome. If not, hey, there's a good point not to.
Yeah, right.
So next Boston athletes in line for a jersey retirement. So Brady, right? I mean,
Brady would be the next for the Patriots, obviously. But besides him, like, do you retire like Edelman's number?
How long was Edelman? He was with us for like almost
8 years,
right?
almost 10 years, 3 Super Bowls.
You gotta, right?
I feel like you have to.
You gotta.
I really feel like oh well, I would say before Edelman, Gronk.
Gronk was with us
I would
for
actually maybe even say Edelman before Gronk. To be
I would say
completely
Edelman before
honest.
Gronk.
Really?
Too. I would
Yeah.
say Edelman before Gronk. I mean, Edelman stayed with us too. That's another thing. Like,
Yeah,
obviously,
but-
that's not like a huge thing to take into account. But like, as a New England sports fan, you like to see the guys stay with you.
But here's the thing. When you have, obviously, not just the greatest quarterback of all time, the greatest football player of all time, Brady, and the greatest tight end ever, you have to, I feel like you have to enshrine them somehow here. You know what I mean?
That's another one for me. Like, again,
I think all three of them should get it.
I think
Personally,
there's an argument for all three of them.
100%. I agree.
But yeah, I would say them. See, if we're talking about just retired players, I don't really know besides them. Like,
Could be current players playing right now, too.
Patrice Bergeron's 100% get his
Oh,
number
1,000.
retired.
So's Chara.
100% Chara's gonna get his number
So's
retired.
Marchand.
What are your thoughts on Tuukka Rask?
No.
So I think he was one of the best goalies the Bruins ever had.
He's the best goalie the Bruins ever had.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
So-
that's a tricky one, man.
2 Stanley Cup appearances, didn't get the cup, but he was the backing of this franchise for so long. You know, even with Tim Thomas there, he was always there. We got him from Toronto when he was with us his whole career, correct?
Yeah.
I'm not wrong on that.
No, whole career.
So that's an argument. That's why I wrote
It
Tuukka.
is. Yeah, that is an interesting one. Tuukka's, yeah, that's interesting, man. Bergeron, Marchand, and Chara are all going to get it, though.
Marchand,
I'll tell you that
yeah,
right now.
Marchand too, 100%.
100%.
They're gonna have a few more jerseys up there in the next 10 years, definitely.
For the Red Sox, do you see anybody right now on
See-
track for a number? Did they retire Dustin Pedroia's number? I hope not.
Jay Varitek,
No, they would have done it already. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. He's not even the best catcher in Red Sox history.
again, I was never like a huge baseball fan, but like, yeah, Pedroia, Ortiz is already retired.
Right.
Yeah, no one else really comes to mind. I
no
guess,
one
in
else
that
right now.
conversation.
Nobody else right now.
But yeah, I guess for like the ones that will get retired, Brady should be Edelman, possibly Gronk, Bergeron, and then obviously Marchand, maybe Tuukka.
And Chara.
And Chara. Those are the ones that.
No, what about the Celtics? Like current Celtics? Like it's going to be tricky here.
It depends if they stay. I think it
Yeah,
depends
that's
if they stay.
true.
If Tatum and Brown stay and they build something.
At this rate, I could even see them like Marcus Smart getting a bid.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's been with the team for so long.
Right.
So, and he's in his 20s still, right?
Marcus Smart,
late
yeah, he's like
20s?
28.
28,
Yeah, he's a little
20,
bit younger than me.
So they have a long way to go. Like you can't really predict something like that right now, but on this pace, yes. But you never know with Tatum and Brown. Like, are they going to get that? You know, they want to test free agency type
Yeah,
thing.
right,
Like you never know.
exactly.
And obviously championships come into account too.
Right,
So,
for sure. So that does it for the local sports.
no, we got one more. We got
we
one
do.
more.
Sorry. Oh,
one
I'm sorry.
more.
Yep,
we got
yep,
one more. We're gonna go into Brad Marchand suspension.
Right.
And we're gonna get into NHL officiating and player safety. So this part, this suspension happened how long ago now? It was about a month ago.
Almost
now,
a month
right?
ago, yeah.
So this is like kind of outdated a little bit, but I thought it was cool to touch on it. So Brad Marchand obviously has a track record. We got into a little bit in the last podcast. Love the guy, but the way he plays sometimes pisses me off. He's a fucking pest. He takes stupid penalties. He's gotten better of it over the last few years. He's fucking 32 years old.
You would hope so.
Yeah, you would
Yeah.
hope so. But I don't think he should have got suspended for that. But the fact that he had the track record, did 6 games make sense to you?
Yeah, because he's just such an idiot. He's just such a moron. He knows what he's doing when he's in these moments.
Yeah.
He knows what the fuck he's doing. He knows, and I'm not saying the suspension is what he did was worth the 6 games, but just on history alone, I mean, you have a record for a reason. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's just, at the time, it's so stupid. You look so dumb. You're just an idiot out there doing dumb shit that's detrimental to your team.
You're still like a peewee hockey player.
You're looking an infant. You look like an absolute
Punching
clown.
For the people that don't know what he did, basically he was getting a little scrum, and then the goalie said something to him. He punched the goalie with the glove on, and hit the goalie in the mask. So say David Pastrnak did that. He's not getting 6 games. He
No.
probably wouldn't even get suspended for that.
But he shouldn't. He has no record.
Exactly. So that's where like the NHL player safety comes into play. Do you think at this rate with the suspensions they're giving out, do you think this is a good system for them to go forward, or do you think they need to ease up a little bit on this whole player safety thing?
Certain stuff needs to be eased up on 100%, and this goes into the officiating too. I am so sick of watching refs jump in on fights immediately. It's embarrassing.
And it all ties into bringing more eyeballs to the game. Like hockey, again, isn't just about the fancy goals, the Michigan goals, all that shit. The game of hockey is meant to be played physical. You know, you got grown men out there with sticks trying to put a puck in the net, hitting each other at full speed. Like, there's going to be fights. Let it happen. It's good for the game.
Great for the game.
It's great for the fucking game. They signed up to play this. Let them play that way.
1000%.
And the refs trying to protect these fucking grown men.
It's
Like, come on,
unbelievable.
man. Like, it gets down to a point where, like, as a hockey fan, it's not even fun to watch sometimes.
No, at the second guys drop the gloves, refs are trying to jump in the middle and get on. I'm gonna be dead honest with you guys. I am waiting, daydreaming, fantasizing about the day that a ref gets cracked in the face and split open on accident for trying to jump in and tell 2 grown men in a sport where fighting is legal technically, like get between 2 grown men that want to fight each other.
Who's telling these refs to do this stuff?
It's got to be the league. Of course, it's got to be
Player
the league.
safety.
It's Bettman. Yeah, of course, it's got to be the league. Player safety led by a guy that was an enforcer his whole life, George Paros.
Right, and before that it was
Brendan Shanahan.
Brendan Shanahan, another one.
Right.
Like it just like what are we doing here?
Another guy that fought his whole career.
The guys that made their money off of fighting.
Right, exactly.
So-
Well, Shanahan was more of a skilled power forward
Right,
guy that
he was a
fought.
grinder.
But yeah, he fought all the time. Yeah, 100%.
So it's a little hypocritical on that part, but like just it ties into like the whole the nature of hockey. You got to have physicality, fighting. It brings more eyeballs to the sport. And I think you need stuff like that. So to have refs coming in and kind of dictating that,
Rivalries sell. Violence sells.
not good for the game. And that's why like I always go back to the 2011 Bruins. That was the greatest team
I've ever
most
watched.
fun team
Unbelievable.
to watch ever. So yeah,
I say it all the time. You want more eyeballs on women's hockey? Let them hit and fight.
let them hit and fight.
Let them play the same rules
Is
the
that
guys
still a
do.
thing? Like they can't like body check?
Yeah, they can't hit, and I don't know why. They're professional athletes. If
Grown
they want to,
adults.
if they want grown adults, if they want to hit and fight, let them do it. Let the women make the decision for themselves. I don't understand it. So that wraps the first
That wraps
segment.
up the local segment. We're gonna dive into the national sports section. So
Hit us with the first point, Jay Fine.
The national news, we have a pretty big one. Russell Wilson leaving his home, the Seattle Seahawks, heading over to Denver to kind of plug and play into that Super Bowl ready team over there.
Do you want to do us a favor and just look up the details of the trade?
If
Just
I'm not
because-
mistaken, it's 2 firsts, 2 seconds. The defensive lineman, I think his name's Shelby Jackson.
Shelby Harris.
Shelby Harris, sorry.
Noah Fant
Noah Fant and Drew Lock.
foul. Noah Fant foul.
Noah Fant's a beast.
Gross.
Is gross. And I got to say, so they're in the and by the way, the Broncos receive Russell Wilson and a 5th. Wahoo.
They traded that for Russell Wilson. But go ahead, Jay.
That
Yeah,
was-
just to polish that up, you pretty much hit on everything. The Broncos gave up Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and lineman Shelby Harris, defensive lineman. They gave away 2 first-round picks, one this year in 2022, which is the number 9 overall, and then
that wasn't this year's pick.
it is this year's pick.
Ninth overall pick.
The 9th overall pick this year, as well as the first round pick in 2023. They also gave away 2 second-round picks, the number 40 overall pick in the 2022 draft this year, and then again in 2023, as well as a 2022 fifth-round selection to the Seattle Seahawks.
Let me ask you this: which GM is sweating more right now? Is the Broncos GM sweating more?
No.
Giving away all that? Or
Elway,
is the
right?
Seahawks
It's the
GM sweating more?
Seahawks guy, 100%.
Giving away Russell Wilson.
No, not giving him away. You got the haul. You have to do something with the haul. He didn't give him away.
Well, you know what I mean.
No, I know what you.
Traded
No,
him
no,
away.
I know what you meant. But like,
Franchise quarterback. You know, it's tough to explain that to some people, but he got a haul in, and you got it now. What are you going to do about it?
he got an absurd haul. Not only did he would have been sufficient with just the draft picks.
Yeah, I actually
The players he got is insane.
I got a picture of like the Seahawks like projected lineup, and it is QB Drew Lock, Chris Carson at running back, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Noah Fant.
I guarantee you they trade Tyler Lockett. Something happens with him. They just released Bobby Wagner today too.
Did they?
Wagner is now a free agent. I didn't realize his stats, by the way. Quick note on Bobby Wagner. He's been in the league 10 years. You know, he's an 8-time All-Pro and an 8-time Pro Bowler.
Bobby
he's
Wagner's
a stud.
beast.
I
He's a
never
beast.
realized he's that
Yeah.
much of a beast. That's like Hall of Fame numbers, bro. You're an 8-time fucking Pro Bowler and you won a Super Bowl.
Dude, remember their fucking 2014 Legion of Boom?
Oh my God, they were scary.
2013, whatever it was, 2012. Yeah, dude, they were fucking foul.
Oh, they were legit.
Their
they were
defense
legit
was a
monsters,
staple,
bro.
but yeah.
I gotta say, to be honest with you, as crazy as the exchange sounds, I think it's a fair trade.
We were just talking about that off camera. Yeah, I believe so too, and it's really rare to find that. You always have one team where you're like, oh, they got fucking robbed, they got this, they got that. Both teams made out pretty good, I think. I think, did.
And people are saying, oh, the trade package was different from Stafford to. First off, the Broncos, Seattle got twice and then some from Denver. Than what the Rams gave up than what the Lions got for Stafford. But why is that? Russell Wilson's a better player has had a better career than Stafford. Russell Wilson's been better than Stafford.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So naturally he's going to, and he's a Super Bowl champion.
100%.
He's 100% worth more.
Russell Wilson's
worth
a fucking beast. How old is he? Is he like 32,
33? Or he's 34, I'm sorry. Which
Yeah,
by
man.
quarterback standards now is like young.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, he has it. He could play. Brady just played till he's fucking 44.
Aaron Rodgers is 38. He just signed a 4-year, or he's about to sign, or he's supposed to sign a 4-year extension. Supposedly, he hasn't committed to it yet. But even
yeah,
still, dude, it's like.
He's good for at least another fucking 6-7 years.
But you know what Denver did, man? I'll tell you right now. They looked at what the Rams did. They said they had the team. They didn't have the quarterback. I need to get this quarterback. They got the guy. Now that team is pretty.
Talk about a stacked division.
It's a division. Oh man,
what is it? Him, Mahomes. Who else?
Justin Herbert and Derek Carr.
That's going to be the most stacked quarterback division in. A long
That's the
time,
best division
ever.
in the league right now. It's not even close. I don't think
100%.
actually.
Yeah. If you remember, it's exactly what Elway did last time. He built a team like this, and then what did he do? He brought in Peyton Manning, and he said, "All right, Peyton, captain it for a couple of years. We're one player away from winning a Super Bowl." And they did. They won a Super Bowl.
And 98-5 mirrored it perfectly back. They had all the players, the same skill positions, ready to go. They had a young, ascending receiving core back then. They have the same thing now. They had a young rookie DB or a young DB that was good. Chris Harris back then. Now it's Patrick Surtain II. Young upcoming pass rusher, Von Miller back then. Now it's Bradley Chubb. It's the same, it's like almost the same archetype team. And now they get their guy. So I think I'm excited to watch Denver. I think they're going to be it is going to be fun. It is watching Russell Wilson against Mahomes and Herbert and Carr 6 times a year.
Very entertaining.
It is.
It's great for football.
And the Seahawks are just now in this you have everything you need to rebuild.
You got to do it now.
Now you have to do it. Now you got to do it.
But yeah, to pivot off that, I guess we could dive into Rodgers since you mentioned Rodgers.
Absolutely.
He's verbally agreed?
He's coming back for this last season. He doesn't want to trade or anything like that. This is his last year on contract with Green Bay. He has not committed to signing the extension yet. They offered him 4 years and $200 million, which is insane.
Yeah.
But they did.
And he's 38, you said?
38, yeah.
I go for it too.
You know why though? But you know why? What's the better situation for him anywhere else? Nowhere. They have the team, and now it's all on him. Yeah. They have the team. They got a pretty good defense. They got a pretty good offensive line. He's got a great running back. He's got Devontae Adams.
They got to do something now.
He's got what they need. You got everything.
It's exciting, dude. It's cool to see another quarterback that's kind of on his way out, commit to more time to watch him play.
100%.
You hate to see those guys lead the league.
No, yeah, it would suck.
But yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited to see that too.
Yeah, Pittsburgh wouldn't have been a better option for him, I don't think.
I don't even know where else he was looking. Where else?
Supposedly Denver wasn't interested in him, but they hired his offensive coordinator as a head coach.
Yeah, people were probably predicting him to go over there.
Yeah, 1,000%. So yeah, that's how that was going to go. But
yeah, another big piece of news to move on to another point was the whole Calvin Ridley situation. Do you want to kind of give us a summary on that?
Everybody says that the problem isn't suspending him for the year. It's how it's juxtaposed next to other disciplinary sanctions that the NFL has handed out with guys beating on their girlfriends and wives and smoking weed and shit. It's just these guys only got 6 and 4 game and 8 game suspensions, which is fine.
I saw someone tweet that it was beating a girlfriend up for multiple it was 6-7 games.
Yeah,
and gambling, throwing, and he claims to only have bet $1,500.
It doesn't matter. You can't bet on the sport in the league you play in.
Yeah, he was in the wrong no matter what.
100%.
But just the two sides of it is interesting to compare.
And the second thing is a lot of people are pointing out that there's some holes in this story. Like, you're really telling me he bet on an offshore website with his actual cell phone and his real name?
That's why I'm like, how
because
did,
the
how
league
did they
isn't
tie that back to him?
Because the league is in partners with all of these gambling.
Is or isn't? Yeah.
Is now partners with sportsbooks, which I think is horrible for the league.
Interesting, yeah.
And now, because if somebody came aboard that information, they could be like, "Hey, we got fucking like legit Calvin Ridley,
buddy. We
taking
we got
laying parlays down.
We got Gronk laying parlays every week.
Yeah,
what
like
are we
what
do
is
about
this?
that?
100%.
Yeah.
Was it confirmed how he got caught?
I don't know how he got caught.
But was he betting?
His guy had to. Somebody had to rat.
But that was my question. Was he betting like legally, and they just flagged his name, or was he like betting through a bookie?
I don't even know. I don't even know that extent. I don't know. I don't even know that extent, to be honest with you.
Offshore, right? Illegally, right?
Yeah,
like,
something had to be something illegal.
Put all of his information in illegal.
Right. No, 1,000%. I mean, you never know. Athletes can be some of the dumbest people on planet Earth, so you literally never know. But
talk about some bad news for the Pats, because he was someone that people were talking about the Pats looking at to get, and he would have been a great fucking addition.
He would have, but they would have had to trade for him. And from what I heard, the price was like exorbitant before this whole thing came out. And the Falcons didn't trade him because they knew this was coming. Now you got to think back to him mid-season last year. I'm leaving for mental health issues. So what's the deal with that then?
Oh wow, I didn't even know that happened.
Oh, you didn't?
He left for mental health issues?
Yeah, dude, he left in like week 6 and was like, I'm taking
2021.
Yeah, this last season. Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you think that's going to tie into like this a little bit? Maybe
I don't know now. Maybe it's just a domino effect where like things feel like they're going wrong
just
for you, and then you make another bad decision, and it's like whatever. But I mean, that's happened to me before. But
yeah, it's interesting.
What do we got coming up next?
To pivot off that, we got we're gonna dive into Brady's retirement a little bit. I know that one's kind of
he's not staying retired. He's not staying.
So that's
retired.
the big question. People are predicting that he's going to come back, where he's going to go, how he's going to go about it. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the
Supposedly it's Miami. That's what Jimmy Stewart on 98.5 keeps saying. The inside source is saying if he comes back, he's going to go to Miami because they want to offer him a minority, ownership stake in the team
of the Dolphins.
Much like Michael Jordan had with the Wizards.
Interesting. I was going to say San Fran would be...
San Fran's got to be the place he wants to be. He's from San Francisco, and 100%. They're a guy away. They're a quarterback away. They have everything else on that team. They have the young ascending receivers. They have the loaded defense.
That's where he wanted to go when he's like for the like between them and the Bucks, and then didn't they decide?
And you can't tell me one thing wouldn't be. It wouldn't be so satifying for him to be like, yeah, Garoppolo, get the fuck out of the way. This is my team now.
Yeah, do it again to him. Yeah.
Again, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The whole thing's just interesting. Like even away from all that, like how he did retire on Instagram and like how it just came out of nowhere, and you know people in New England getting their feathers ruffled. How he didn't mention New England, but again, I think when he left New England, that was like his goodbye.
Was his thing, of course. Yeah.
I don't think he really owed anything, you know. Like
no,
he
not
gave us
else.
fucking 6 Super Bowls, bro.
Yeah, I don't think he owed anything else.
I understand why it could be a little like, okay, I wish he said something.
Comes off his course,
but come on, bro. You got people like saying they're gonna burn Brady jerseys and shit.
Yeah,
like,
you're
come
a loser.
On, dude,
you're a straight clown. You're an absolute clown.
The guy, he's a human, and these
100%.
athletes are all human. They have rights to make decisions for their family, for whatever the fuck reasons. Leave the guy alone. Let him make his decision. But I do agree. I think there's a very good chance you do see him again.
100% you see him again. I think.
Are you thinking 2022 season? Or are you thinking maybe? I mean, he's only getting older.
Yeah, but I think something. I think he's got an insatiable itch, man. He's got an unscratchable itch that you just can't.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be out there at some point this season, and supposedly if he does come back, he wants to go to Miami, and I'd be like, wow, fuck, he's going to be in the same,
would be interesting. That would
same division playing us twice.
Talk about ruffling some feathers. That would be fun.
Plus,
to watch.
if it's literally like if you can't beat him, join him. He always played like shit in Miami.
He did. Yeah,
they always played like shit in Miami.
That's accurate.
So it's like, and I guess that wraps the segment.
Wraps up national sports.
So we're going to keep rolling here, right? We're going right into this, guys. We're going to open up this pop culture segment. It's going to be a little bit different every week, just so you guys know. So this week we have, you showed me some cool alien abduction shit this week.
Yeah, so conspiracy theories has always been something we wanted to kind of dabble into in this segment.
Big conspirators we are.
So we were just like hanging out at my house, like a few days ago, and we started talking about, alien conspiracy theories. And an interesting one to me was the hollow earth theory, which is, it's one of those where it's like, there's no way,
So for those of you that don't understand, that might not understand like what this is or are unfamiliar with the whole like dialogue around the theory, right? Is that the earth has like this area between the core and the surface world that's like its own ecosystem in like the middle of the earth.
Think of it like the Earth's a sphere.
Right. A sphere.
A sphere.
A sphere.
A sphere. In the middle of that Earth, there's another world.
Yes.
And that's where these extraterrestrials, or whatever you want to call it, are living.
Right.
To back that up, there was a story. It's if you look up Admiral Byrd Hollow Earth story or theory, whatever you want to call it.
Crazy story, actually.
It's a crazy story. It was to kind of sum it up quick, because you can dive into this for so long.
It's an endless rabbit hole.
It was
really.
like this dude who was in the military, higher ranked guy, very tenured guy in the military. He was a pilot, and he was on an expedition, I believe, in the South Pole or the North Pole, one of them. But it was one of the first expeditions there, and I want to say it was in the 40s or 50s, around that time. And basically, he's flying. He loses connection for his radio system to, talk to the headquarters, wherever he was talking to in the military. So he's flying with no communication. He starts seeing like these green areas, these big trees, these things that shouldn't be in the North or South Pole. And he starts seeing these animals, like he described, like mammoths and like this weird shit. So then he claims that he lost control of his aircraft, and something brought him, and it sounds fine. Even just saying it out loud, I'm just like, what the fuck am I saying
Yeah,
right
no,
now?
it's definitely a weird
But
story.
he wrote it in like a big document and presented it to the military, and they suppressed it. They didn't want it out, and then it ends up leaking out.
In like hyper detail, by the way.
Yeah, so anyways, some entity brings him down into this new world, he describes, and he gets escorted to meet the leader of this world, and apparently it's an alien, or whatever you want to call it. And he's given him a message to bring back to the U.S. government. Something about nuclear weapons and
what you're doing is going to have like grave consequences and how it affects the rest of the world and
right.
shit
And
like
I
that.
believe it was right before Hiroshima, I want to say.
Yep, it was.
I could be wrong. Fact check me. But basically, this guy gives him this big detailed message. He documents it all. They send him back to his aircraft, and they fly him out. And then he gets controls of his shit eventually. Gets communication back, and they're like, what the fuck happened to you? Like, we haven't had communication with you for hours. They thought he was dead. He goes back down, he reports it to the Pentagon, and they're basically like, yeah, you can't leak this out to anyone. So it gets suppressed, and then I guess like 4 or 5 years later, he's like, I can't take this anymore. So he leaks it. They suppress it again, and then I guess after he passed away, they went to his household or something and found the documents, the physical documents, and now it's public knowledge of what happened. So.
And then at the end of the video, some guys like he also just could have been hallucinating on carbon monoxide poisoning, and we're like, oh,
which could be accurate,
could be accurate.
Sure. But it's interesting because when you actually go, you should look it up on YouTube, Admiral Byrd Expedition. It's interesting because he goes into grave detail of everything, and it's it's honestly a little disturbing. It's unsettling.
It is. It's
because
creepy.
it could make sense. It's like he believed he went into the hollow Earth. He went into a different world behind the Earth's core, because the deepest we've drilled down into the Earth's core, I believe, was like they said 8 miles before it got way too hot and they couldn't go any deeper.
Which is literally nothing.
It's not even close to how deep the Earth goes. I think the Earth goes like hundreds of
oh
miles,
my god,
maybe
it's
thousands.
insane. Yeah.
So no one has any idea what's below. So I just thought it was an interesting theory, and it kind of ties into aliens and all that, and that's one that always sticks out to me when I talk to people about like these conspiracy theories. I don't know if you had any that you encountered.
Well, the only thing as far as like conspiracy theories go is the way Bob Lazar and watch his interview with Joe Rogan. He also has a Netflix special now. The way Bob Lazar was a guy who used to work at Area 51 and worked hand in hand supposedly with extraterrestrial aircraft and like extraterrestrials and shit. And the way he described that aliens move and operate, like, kind of makes sense of everything, and also adds credibility and gravity to like alien abduction victims' stories. Because if you notice alien abduction victim stories, they're all kind of the same. They all describe ships the same way. When in reality, could that also be that they're just hearing how somebody else says it and then they just repeat the same shit?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, this is how you have to describe it. Like, okay. But the way he's saying it is like those small ships that you see, they almost look like little like Skittles or like Tic Tacs, right? Like zipping around at these like impossible angles. There's nobody in those. They're like remote controlled from a mothership somewhere. Kind of a cool concept. I'm like, that actually makes a lot of sense. They're like drones.
You would just picture that there's aliens inside of those
And
UFOs.
everybody thinks that there's little aliens operating all these aircrafts. Apparently there's not.
Think of it like a drone.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah,
drone from wherever the fuck they're operating.
100%. They're remotely operated from somewhere. And the other thing is, aliens operate. Put it this way: if I have a bowling ball on a bed, right, and I tell you move this bowling ball without touching it, how do you have to move it?
You gotta move the bed.
Move the bed, right?
Yeah.
So how aliens move, it's something called 0-point energy. That's what like the government classifies it as. And it's basically like, it's a way for aliens have developed a way to manipulate gravity and control gravity.
It's a fucking bug out, dude.
Which is a scary thought. If you can control gravity, you can control just about anything.
The funniest thing is I always have these conversations at like 1 or 2 a.m. with my friends, and I'm like, I can't go to sleep that night now because I'm like, what the fuck is what is life?
So yeah, exactly. And basically, like in the way they get around so quick,
yeah,
where the 0-point thing comes in is everybody's always said this, the closest thing way between 2 points. Sorry, is a straight line.
Right.
Aliens take that line and fold it, flip it, and now these two become one, and now there's no distance. So that's how they get around so quick.
It's definitely it's cool to think about, and it makes sense. A lot of it makes sense when you break it down to a surface level. And a little movie recommendation. This doesn't really have to do with aliens, but Interstellar. We were talking about that.
I love Interstellar. It's crazy.
The fourth dimension. It's a fucking. I'm still so confused by it, but I watched the movie like twice, and it makes a little more sense.
When I watched the movie, I had no clue what happened at the end. I'm like, I have no clue. This movie was sick, but I have no idea what just happened.
I'm like, what the fuck just happened? But great movie to check out. But one more thing before we move off this topic.
Sure.
The pyramids.
Oh yeah,
the pyramids. I know you're knowledgeable on this, so you can kind of take the lead.
I mean, there's no way that like there's literally no way that they were able to physically do this. As far from like a manual like moving these, like they're huge. They're these huge multiple ton limestones. Or whatever they are, rocks. I don't even know what the fuck it is.
Whatever the fuck they're called.
Whatever they're called doesn't even fucking matter.
And you're telling me humans move these, and they had to move them miles on miles on miles.
That's just on the ground. How about getting them on top of one another?
On top of each other. And the thing that really gets to me on all this is how they're aligned in the universe, in the world. I forget what the exact numbers are, but the way they're placed, each one, it's like the distance between one side to the other matches with like the coordinates of the center of the universe. Or something
it's
like
insane.
That. And it's crazy, dude.
It's insane.
Crazy.
It's definitely insane. And then inside,
sorry, not the center of the universe, the center of the earth, but you know what I mean. It's fucking nuts, and it almost seems impossible.
And then inside there's like trap doors and all this shit.
And the architecture on all this is
crazy.
Like people, the smartest scientists nowadays still can't put together how they did these certain angles in there and how they put this place together, basically. We can even do it with modern technology. So they're like, how the fuck do these people riding on fucking
in
camels
5 BC? Yeah, exactly.
Do
like,
this?
right, yeah, figure this out.
That's why it just points to more like extraterrestrial.
And then you have the cave drawings on the walls of people in space helmets and all types of shit like that too. Like it's like a dead, like it's all there. Somebody helped these people build these, and it wasn't humans.
It's crazy because we look at ourselves now as like the most advanced civilization ever, but
Yeah.
in reality, when you go back and look at all that, there was some type of civilization that was and still is way more advanced.
100%.
That's why that points to aliens and extraterrestrials.
A million billion percent. What's the next? What do we got?
But
coming
we can deep dive into that a different time. But
sure.
That's pretty much the bulk of it. So to pivot off that,
Yeah, right.
This is kind of different.
To come into an even deeper intellectual
that's the
conversation.
That's the thing with the pop culture segment. We're gonna just dive all.
Yeah,
around.
guys, it's gonna be all types of stuff. So just get ready
away
for
from
that.
sports. So we're gonna list, since this is a Massachusetts-based podcast, our top 5 movies based in Massachusetts.
About Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, based
in Massachusetts. Sure.
So
you go first if you want.
I'll go first. Yeah. So at number 5, how will we do this? I'll go 5. You go 5.
Sure. And then Jay, fine. You go 5.
You want to do that? Do you have a list, or do you need a second?
List for most overrated?
No. Top 5 movies based in Massachusetts. Do you have a?
I feel like we can overlap.
I think so too, but that's all right.
Whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
So what?
So I'm gonna go 5. Number 5, I have Mystic River.
Okay.
Mystic River was actually shot in East Boston, where I'm from. I promise I'm not biased. I actually like the movie. I think it was Sean Penn and Kevin Bacon was in it too.
Yep.
Kevin Bacon always plays the cop. Like
Horrible
always.
accent too, which is crazy.
Got.
Please don't
It's a whole
even
nother
start.
thing.
Don't even start.
Mystic River, great movie though. It's about it kind of gets into like the whole priests in Boston and like the sexual assault shit, but it also is about his daughter goes missing and like he has to go back to his ties with like kind of the mob in it and like find out who did it. It's a great movie. It's a great story.
It's unbelievable.
So that's my number 5.
Jay, fine. What's your 5?
What's my 5? You go first. I'm still thinking.
I'm gonna go with Spotlight.
Can you give me a rundown on that?
So
one?
Spotlight won Best Picture in 2018 or 17, I believe. It's about the investigation that like guys at the Boston Globe did on the Catholic Church and the whole sex abuse thing.
So that ties into Mystic River too.
100%, right? Exactly. It's like unbelievably done. One Best Picture. Yeah, I'm going with Spotlight for my 5 personally. Jay, fine. What do you got?
All right, on the 5 spot, I'm gonna go Ted.
Hey here.
Oh God.
I'm gonna go Ted.
Me and him
Fine.
had
gonna
this
go Ted.
conversation at my house. We were like, someone's gonna say Ted. Someone's gonna say Ted.
I didn't put it up in the top 4, but I'm gonna put it in number 5 just because I think it's so impactful, just culturally. Boston-wise, everyone quotes that movie. True. Everyone knows that movie. Boston never gets too much recognition from Hollywood.
I think it's a good.
You gotta
point.
take it where you get it.
Let's also put in account. We just put him on the spot completely.
1,000%
Right.
put him on
But
the spot.
Ted, I would argue
put him
Ted
on
is
the
a
spot.
very well-known movie. Like it's known.
It is, but like the thing that I never liked about Ted was like, dude, like
You look,
Ted is
so pissed off right now.
Ted is literally Peter Griffin from Family Guy,
It's
but
that-
like
it's that
as
type
a
of-
teddy bear. It's the same exact voice.
It's that type of comedy. So I feel like you either love it or you hate it. You know
Yeah,
what
and I
mean?
just can't do the accent and like the typical Boston jokes and stuff like that. And it's like, fuck me hard. I can't do it.
Hey, bud, if you hate my content, just say it.
Hey, here, no, stop.
All right, number 4, we're gonna go with The Fighter.
Okay.
Mark Wahlberg, Christian Bale. Christian Bale fucking played a great part as Dickie Wood, right?
Yeah, I'm Dickie Eklund.
Dickie Eklund, sorry. Yeah, great fucking movie. Based in Lowell, Pride of Lowell.
Yep.
Boxing movie. I love boxing. I love me some fighting. And Mark Wahlberg played a great part. I forget who the mother was, the actress in it.
Melissa Leo.
I thought she did a good part. Had
She
a good
was.
part in it too. The accent's pretty good in it too. That's another staple for these Boston movies. I think, like you were just saying, like the accent's overplayed a
Yep.
lot of the time and not good. And I think for that movie specifically, it wasn't bad.
No, I thought it was good. I thought everybody was authentic. I thought it was an authentically represented Massachusetts movie.
Yeah, that's my number
I had
4.
no issue with it. My number 4 is probably going to be. I'm going to go with Mystic River. Actually, I think. Love Mystic River. No, I'm sorry. Actually, I lied.
Hey, here, pull back.
Nope.
Little controversy.
Almost got it mixed up. I'm going with Mystic River, 100%.
We got Mystic River.
We're going for Mystic River. I liked Mystic River a lot. I thought it was very, again, very well. Maybe out of all the Boston movies, besides Good Will Hunting, the best acted.
Mm-hmm.
I also love Clint Eastwood as a filmmaker. I kind of liked how it was kind of like a whodunit for a while, and then you kind of find out how this all happened, and it was just, it doesn't have a happy ending, which I also like. So yeah, that's what I'm going. I'm going Mystic River on that one. Jay, fine.
So I actually also I made a little list here. Once
Here comes
you put me in the
FIFA
spot here.
pitch. Watch
And,
this.
No, so I have the fighter as well. I agree with Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, I put the fighter for number 4.
It's a great
Okay.
movie. It's a
Yeah.
There we go.
classic.
What's your 3 here?
Number 3? We got The Town. Some
Yep.
people would put this higher, I think, but I think the big 3 doesn't change, man.
It
I'm
depends
not
on
gonna,
where
I'm
you
not
put
gonna
'em.
spoil it, but I think the big 3 for everyone doesn't change. But I'm gonna put Town at 3. Again, Ben Affleck directed. I think was it his first movie he directed?
One
of his first, I wanna
one of the
say.
first ones I think he directed. Yeah,
Again, great acting. Good depiction of some people in Boston. Obviously, in Charlestown, bank robbery was a real thing. It was based on a true story. And who was the number 2 in that? What was his name? Why am I blanking? Avengers.
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner. I thought he did a great job.
So did I.
I thought accent wise too, he did a great job.
100%. I liked Jeremy Renner a lot.
They also said that he actually lived in Charlestown before that show, just to like get to know the people and really put his research in and like play the role accurately. And I thought he did a kick-ass job.
I thought he was
all
great.
around action-packed movie. Little love story in there. It's fucking great. You
I do.
can't argue The Town.
No, I love The Town. Number 3 for me is going to be Good Will Hunting. Again, it's not like an aggressive Boston movie. It's a little bit different. It's got a little more heart and soul and a deeper meaning, which I like. Well acted. I thought Robin Williams had never been better dramatically in his career. I thought Robin Williams took that movie to the next level. I thought it was well written, well shot. Everything about it was just like, I liked the whole timeline of events and how it all went down and everything like that. I just really liked it. I really enjoyed I love Good Will Hunting. I'll watch it whenever it's on.
Great movie, dude.
Yep.
Classic.
100%.
Staple classic movie.
Gets a little corny at times with I got a number. How do you like? And that's like, there's a couple.
Like them apples.
Yeah, there's a couple bad parts, but like overall, Good Will Hunting's a classic.
How about you, Jay Fine?
Jay Fine.
I actually have. I would be surprised if we didn't all have kind of the last three. Actually, you know what? I have just scratch that because number 4, I don't think you guys are gonna have. But I have Good Will Hunting at number 3.
Okay.
I agree with you. Yeah, I put Good Will Hunting at number 3. I think it's really good. Obviously, it's a classic. It's a staple. I personally think it's a little bit cliche.
I agree.
A teeny bit.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Which is why I don't have it a little bit higher, but I have to have respect
100%.
for just the movie itself and what it's done,
Right.
in Boston.
Culturally.
Culturally.
Culturally, yeah.
Exactly.
Staple of the Boston,
1000%.
Boston movies. Like I
Right.
said, the big 3, and I'm going to get into the big 3 again.
Here we go.
Number 2, The Departed.
Okay.
You got to. I kind of just gave away my number 1, but Departed. You got Leo, great fucking acting. Matt Damon. I still am a little skeptical on his accent a little bit sometimes, but he's a great actor. Who was the mob boss? And it was his name.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. Sorry, blanking here.
Sheesh.
I'm not good with actors' names. He
gotcha.
played a great part. Yeah, dude. It's action packed. It involves the mob. I think it's pretty accurately presented, and and Mark Wahlberg's in it. I almost forgot Mark Wahlberg. I think it's great. I think there's a twist at the end that kind of sparks a lot of people, and it's a good ending. Great storyline. But yeah, I got Departed.
You like the ending?
I've watched Departed a bunch of times. It's actually one of my favorite movies. I like the ending. Yeah, I think it kind of caught me off guard. I was
Really?
like, what the fuck? Yeah, because like Wahlberg leaves a little bit, and then he like kills the dude at the end. And
Everybody dies except Wahlberg.
right, and like that one scene where everyone's just dying, they're just shooting everyone at the end. Like I'm
Right.
like what the fuck is going on?
I mean,
right now?
everybody was just turning a corner and getting blown away.
Right.
And everybody died.
I thought it was a great movie, and it depicted.
The only thing that was
Boston
frustrating was the part with the guy dying that knew it was him. Remember the guy on the couch? He's like, "Why didn't you answer the phone call or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck?" The Irish guy.
Yep, because he was with the FBI. No,
Who?
was he with the FBI, or did he just know that
The other guy?
the guy that died on the couch was he? an
No, he
informant
wasn't with
too?
the. No.
Not
He
informant.
was just on to
He just knew
DiCaprio
yeah,
and knew he was it.
and then he just died.
Yeah. And where are we at? Number 3 right now?
We are at number 2.
Number
That was
2.
my number 2.
Right.
Departed.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna go with Gone Baby Gone as my 2.
Wow.
Yep.
Hey
So
here.
we did have that. All right.
Hey here.
I'm going with Gone Baby Gone as my 2.
Hey.
I'm also changing my number 5. I'm an idiot.
But this is why you gotta write them down.
Yeah,
before
to the Departed. Just want to make note of that really quick.
Well, to tally off that, like I was between Mystic River and Gone Baby Gone for my number 5. So that's
Okay.
interesting. Yeah.
So, Gone Baby Gone, I think one features the best accent by a non-Bostonian or Massachusetts person ever. The druggy mother,
Yeah,
That-
Amy Ryan.
Amy Ryan. She's got
Yeah.
the best accent that I've heard of a non. And I loved the whole. Again, I loved the whodunit right to the end.
Mm-hmm.
There was a twist there too when it ended up being Morgan Freeman. And you're like, holy
Oh, yeah.
shit, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Casey Affleck played a good. It was his lead role. He was. The lead.
Yeah,
He was great.
I thought he was perfectly subtle. He wasn't cheesy. Neither was the wife.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other guy was like perfectly authentic. The guy Titus Wells, the guy was Lionel with the mustache. I thought he was authentic. Like it struck me as very grounded and authentic. I really fucking like Gone Baby Gone a lot personally. And yes, Departed is now my number 5. Sorry.
All right, Jay Fine.
Jay
You're up,
Fine.
number 2.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I'm going Gone Baby Gone with number 2. And actually, you know what? Now as I say it, look, hey, you put me in the spot here. I'm gonna have to also bump Ted out of my number 5.
Thank you.
spot. I'm gonna bump Ted out of my 5 spot, and I'm gonna put the town there. Actually,
Okay.
I like it. There
And
you
now-
go, Jay
and I'm
Fine.
sure you know what my number 1 will be. But yeah, number 2, I'm going with Gone Baby Gone. Like you said, it was one of those movies that literally had you in the edge of your seat the entire time. Like just when you thought you knew what was going on,
Right.
they threw something
Threw
else
something
at you.
new at you and it was something
Yeah.
crazy and you were like, oh, this is going to keep going. This is unbelievable.
100%. And one of the reasons I love that movie is because it's not because it's like one of the most quoted, like The Town or like Good Will Hunting, but it's like I think it was personally one of the best like acting jobs, one of the
Yeah,
best like
I agree.
cinematic movies like
I agree.
in Boston's history.
No, I
for sure.
absolutely agree. And your number 1 is going to be?
Yeah, and I think it all depends like on the person when it comes to these lists.
100%.
Like what kind of movies you like. And for me, number 1's Good Will Hunting for me.
Okay.
I think, like you were saying, deeper meaning.
Yep.
It's not. It is a little corny at times. I agree, but I think my main reason for putting it at number 1 is just how much of a staple it is in Boston culture.
Yeah.
And whenever you think of Boston, you think of Good Will Hunting.
100%.
You think of how about them apples. Even though how corny it sounds, but You think of it, and it was pretty accurately shot. It was made by, it was created and thought of by Affleck, Damon, and Casey when they were fucking like young kids, teenagers.
Right.
And I watched an Ben Affleck interview on it, and they were saying like when they were doing it with Robin Williams, like they were starstruck because like Robin Williams was like established at that point, and he really
he was on top of the planet at that point. Are you kidding me?
He brought that movie to a whole new fucking level.
100%.
I think he was a real staple. Like, I mean, even in the Boston Common, you had that seat where he had that talk with Matt Damon when they're doing
that location is just iconic, man. You see it now, and it's
that's the main reason I'm putting it number one. It is a great movie, but I think more just because of the deeper meaning and how much of a staple.
That's valid.
It is.
That's absolutely valid. My number one is going to be The Town.
Gotcha.
My number one's The Town. I watch it every time it's on. I think it's perfectly written. I don't think Blake Lively is as bad as people tried to say she was in that movie. I thought she was all right. I like John Hamm's character, the Fed. I thought he was good. I thought it was perfectly cast. The action was perfectly shot.
For the people shitting on Blake Lively, like I'll tell you right now, I know about 12 girls that are exactly like her.
She wasn't that bad.
Kidding.
I thought she was pretty good. People shit on her for that movie, and I'm like, I don't really know why, to be honest
the people
with you.
that are shitting on them did not grow up in Boston and meet girls like that. There are actual women, girls I still know and am friends with, some of them that are literally like that.
Oh, the solid chicks, the coolest fuck.
Yeah,
just like they
nothing
are
against
real,
them, but
though.
like that's literally how they are. So I think she did a great job.
No, 1,000%. And I just think it's so well written. Now, did you like the ending that he gets away?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I mean, I hated to see Jeremy Renner die, but
did you see the alternate ending? Did you ever watch the alternate ending?
Alternate ending?
Yeah, there's an alternate ending.
Hey, here.
So he leaves and he gets away. Obviously, Ben Affleck, and he's got the bag of money, right?
Yeah, and at the end, he's at like a beach house. Like,
no, but that's the original ending. That's the theatrical ending.
Saying, yeah.
Right. So the alternate ending is he goes back to his car, and the two kids they beat the shit out of in the apartment in the projects show up.
Wow.
And he's like, yo, what's up? You know, this, that, and the other thing. And the guy's like, what's up? You tough now? And the kid's pointing a gun at him.
Interesting.
And Ben Affleck's like, listen, you can take the whole thing, like, whatever. Call a spade, like, and we'll squash this and it'll be over if that's what you want to do. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think that's going to work for me. So then you see Ben Affleck, like, take a second and he kind of, like, looks around. And then you see him, like, smile across his face and he's like, how's your fucking leg? And the kid shoots him and blows him away and stuff like that. So he, like, doubles down on it.
That's funny.
And that's how he ends up getting killed. That's the alternate ending. Do you like that or do you like the theatrical ending?
I think that ending's better.
The one where he gets killed?
Yeah, because, like, I don't like endings. I like endings that are unsettling, but I don't like endings that, like, you know there's supposed to be something else happening. Like, you know that the girl's gonna come and meet up with him eventually, you know, and like it's
do you
gonna be
think
this
or do you
happy
think she
ending.
ever goes?
I mean, he left her that note in the money, right? So like eventually, yeah, they're gonna rekindle, right?
I don't know. I think it's implied that she never goes and he just stays there. First off, if you're a federally wanted criminal at that point, why would you stay in the country?
Right.
Why the fuck would you go to Florida?
I'm gonna be down in Florida if you need me.
Yeah, like
okay,
what?
buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be down on like Siesta Beach. Like what the fuck?
Going down to Fort Lauderdale.
I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna be in a penthouse in fucking Taiwan.
I'm gonna go to Dubai.
Yeah,
with
like
all this
what?
fucking money.
If I'm a federally wanted criminal, I just killed fucking 19 cops. I'm not gonna go retire in Delray Beach. What are you shitting me?
That's fucking yeah.
Give me a break.
I don't know, man. I think you're right with that. I never thought about that, but I think adding that alternate ending would have added some spice. But hey, whatever.
What's your number one, Jay Fine?
My number one, I'm gonna go with The Departed.
Okay.
I just think for a couple of reasons. I think it's kind of like, other than Good Will Hunting. Even Good Will Hunting didn't really go in like the whole kind of like action, like kind of cop, like law enforcement direction, but Departed was like kind of like the first movie that set the basis for movies like The Town, like other movies that came after it.
Sure.
Also, if you just look at, I know the other movies got some good cast, but if I just Googled it real quick,
It's a
just
fucking lineup and a half.
Oh, it is, yeah.
It's a lineup and a
All-star
half. No,
team.
you got DiCaprio, Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, Martin Sheen, Alec Baldwin, directed by Martin Scorsese.
Vera Farmiga's in that too.
Vera Farmiga's in it, and Brad Pitt was even a producer. So
That's crazy.
So,
I forgot Scorsese directed that.
And you know what I mean? So like, I think when you take that in its totality, I gotta put it as number one.
Yeah,
I do.
It's hard to argue. Yeah,
it's tough to argue. Yeah, no, it's definitely tough to argue. Do we have anything else?
Yeah, I think we can close off. We had overrated movies. I don't really have one in mind, but I also have latest movies we watched.
Okay, give me a latest movie we watched. We'll do this really quick.
I have two movies.
Okay.
I watched Parasite last night. I didn't finish
How
it.
was
I'm like 3/4 through it.
Is it good?
So I don't want to completely judge it yet because I haven't seen the ending, but there was a crazy twist in it just now. The only thing is that it's one of those movies that's in Korean and you got to read subtitles the whole time, which kind of sucks. But
it does take you out of it a little bit.
It's a
for
very
sure, yeah.
well written movie. Like it has a good storyline. It's a little funny. It's a little confusing, but it's a little creepy too.
Yeah.
So it's like, for example, when I looked at it on Hulu, it was in the comedy section, but also the horror section.
Okay.
Which is a little confusing.
So does it have like
but
Jordan Peele vibes, kind of like?
Sort of, yeah, but it's not exactly. It's not like a comedy horror movie, like Scary Movie 3. Like it's not like
right.
That. It's
I
like
know
an
what you
actual, well-written movie. So
like
I thought
Get
it was
Out.
good. Yes, exactly. Sort
Right.
of, yeah. But I haven't finished it. And my other one I watched is this movie called Fresh. And me and my girlfriend, we've been looking on TikTok for like, because you ever see like those people on TikTok that like, these are the best scary movies of all time you have to watch.
Yeah.
So I've been finding movies off TikTok, and this was one of them. And I wouldn't call this a scary movie. This is like another one that's like, it's kind of hard to watch. It's a little creepy, but it's not scary, and it's like an okay movie. The ending sucked. I didn't like the ending. But it's basically about this dude who meets this chick, and then he kidnaps her he gets her to fall in love with him, kidnaps her, chains her up, and it turns out he's selling human flesh to the black market and making money off it. So you see him like chopping up fucking people and shit.
So it's called Fresh?
Fresh.
I thought you meant it was called Flesh and you mispronounced it.
No, Fresh.
Oh, okay.
Because the
okay.
whole thing is like, he's like, I got to keep you alive because you're fresh and you're worth more money. That's what
creepy
it
as
is.
fuck, man.
Yeah, so those are the two I've watched. I'd give Fresh like a maybe 2.5 out of 5. But not Departed. Parasite is on pace right now for like a solid 3.5, 4.
Really?
Yes, it's good. You should check it out.
Okay.
But
I'm going to go with movies I've recently seen. I just watched The Batman a couple days ago.
Haven't seen it yet.
I'm a huge superhero movie fan. I'm a huge movie fan in general, but I'm I'm like the biggest Batman fan on planet Earth. Loves anything superhero comic book related. The Batman is unbelievable, man.
That's awesome.
I mean, the Batman is really special. It's a special. It's like it feels like you're watching a classic. You don't get that feeling from a lot of movies nowadays.
I got to check that out.
It's hyper realistic. It's grounded. It's very dark. Almost the whole movie takes place at night. It's very like brooding and kind of like creepy. It almost is like Seven. It's like a David Fincher movie. It feels like you're watching a serial killer movie with Batman in it. You know what I mean? From the cinematography, the cast is all perfect. Everybody is great. The Riddler's unbelievable. It really makes you wonder where they're going to go with the second movie. I like the way this one, and there's one scene in the movie that kind of took me out of it. I don't want to throw it's not a spoiler at this point, unless you don't care and you don't care.
Yeah, that's whatever.
There's a scene at the end of the movie where like the Riddler's in his cell at Arkham Asylum, and then he hears somebody talking in the cell next to him. And you get a close-up in the thing of like the window to the cell, and it's a guy with a scarred face, and you see his hair all kind of burnt, and it's the Joker. But the way it is, it's like this guy Barry Keoghan, and it's like it just felt very like it was almost like they filmed it afterwards and just like inserted it. It didn't feel like it fit with the rest of the movie. No one wants to see the Joker. From every online comment section that I've read, no one's looking to see the Joker in another movie. I think it's the only part of the movie that was bad.
Was that at the very end?
It's the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Like there's no more twists or anything?
No, nothing else happens after that point. It just kind of wraps up.
Yeah.
But overall, the Batman, I go on like the specific number scale. The Batman's like right below the Dark Knight for me. It's at like a 94,
Really?
95. Yeah, it's that good.
Wow.
Yes, it's
I gotta
that good.
check that out.
How about you, Jay Fine? Movie you recently watched?
Movie I saw recently, Don't Look Up. That,
Yeah, it was Don't
That
Look
was
Up.
on Netflix.
That was interesting. That movie.
It was interesting. You know, one of the reasons I thought it was interesting was because like I felt like they kept throwing shots at like modern day society, right? Like it was.
Well, that's the whole movie. The
You know
whole
what I
movie's
mean?
like a parody of modern day society.
Exactly.
Really.
That was like it was like very refreshing because like usually like you know especially like with Hollywood stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, there's
you don't
always a
get
liberal
that.
overtone with it.
But
and
it was very nice to see them like it was a blatant like shit on like government, shit on politics, like shit on like how like
Cancel
like,
culture and stuff like that.
Not only cancel culture, but like as a society, what we value, like what we react to and pay attention to versus what we don't. Like there's a lot of like good subtle jabs. It's just a lot of the things that
I feel like if
wrong
you're going
with
to do
modern-day
social
society.
commentary, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
How Don't Look Up did it. So from what I'm hearing,
good.
and it's like, yeah, and it's like they take even shots at everybody.
They did.
They don't just isolate and just bash on Republicans or just bash on,
Democrats. They bashed on
Democrats.
everyone equally, and it was basically just an overall summation of like, hey, regardless of which side you're on, society's messed up, and look at how it affects us when serious stuff
Either
happens.
way, there's stupid shit going on both sides.
Right, 1,000%.
exactly.
So yeah, I think you know what? That wraps our show up.
Yeah, that's gonna wrap up
That's
episode
another
2.
Right here, episode 2 of Mass Appeal, guys. Again, presented by Hedge Better Studios. down here in Braintree, Mass.
At the hedge quarters.
At the hedge quarters, guys.
I love that word.
Love it so much. Yeah, guys, stay tuned for next week's podcast.
We got an interesting interview coming.
Yeah, we do. Episode 3 will be really interesting. We're giving you guys 2 pieces of content this week, so stay tuned. You've seen some hints on Instagram of who it is, and yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys. It's Tommy here with Shades, and that's going to wrap it up.
Take it easy, guys. Have a good one.